Hi guys, welcome to the Wrestling Retrospective, and in today's video I'm doing my review of NXT Deadline 2025. So first on the card we had Obafemi defeat Ricky Saints to become the new NXT champion. And yeah, this was a great start. This really got me going as far as hype goes. These two are absolutely solid wrestlers. And though I'm not a massive Ricky Saints. Did I say Starts for the first part? Shit. Ricky Saints. Though I'm not like a big, massive fan of his, and I wasn't in AEW either. I mean, putting over in the ring with anyone is kind of like a guaranteed banger. So, not to glaze him, it's just that he is a very good wrestler. But yeah, it was a bit of a slow start, but it did eventually get into it. I cracked myself when there was like a moment where Ricky Saints went for a top rope walk and he did it into a Hurricane Rana, but I thought Oba had reversed it into a powerbomb. So when he went further forwards and went ass over tit, I got really worried that something had gone wrong and that someone's going to end up landing really awkwardly, but that wasn't the case, and I just kind of worked myself into a shoot nearly. But yeah, Saints countered Oba really well. You could see within the match that Ricky had learned from his first match with Oba, but obviously wasn't enough to get the job done. I thought that pinning Oba off a famouser is just an insult to the ruler. There's a kind of inner joke between me and my brother where we talk about how the famouser has never beaten anybody, because it's what Dolph Ziggler used to use a lot, but he never won a match with anything. Obviously, I know that Billy Gunn has won matches with the famouser. It's just one of those moves, is like, it's seen as a finisher or like a setup to a finisher, but they always go for a pin afterwards and it never gets them the win. But yeah, I thought that Oba was done after the post spot. Then they pushed him into steel steps, and then he did tornado DDT onto the steps, then did a tornado DDT in the ring. I thought that was going to be it, but no, Oba came back, and I've written on my notes, oh fuck yes. I'm so happy that Oba is champion again. I'm a massive fan of Obafemi's, and I can't wait for him to come up to the main roster. But if he ends up doing NXT for a little bit longer, and he also gets the match with Cody Rhodes at Saturday's main event, which is going to be a guaranteed banger because we know Cody can go, we know Oba can go, so hopefully that'll be an absolutely classic. But yeah, no, this is a really good result. I'm very happy with both of them. Very happy that we get to see Cody and Oba. And yeah, happy to see Oba as NXT champion again, like I just said. But yeah, the match was really good as well. Probably one of the better matches of the night, especially with the Iron Survivor challenges on. It's sometimes hard for the singles matches or just the regular matches to kind of keep up with those. But this certainly did that. And yeah, as I said, I really enjoyed it. Following that, we saw Kendall Gray defeat Kalani Jordan, Jordan Grace, So Rucker, and somebody else? Who am I missing here? Oh, Lola Vice. Oh, sorry to you and my brother for forgetting Lola Vice. To win the Iron Survivor Challenge and earn herself a NXT Women's Championship match at New Year's Evil. And yeah, these matches are something special. They are so fun. They remind me a lot of the Championship Scramble matches that we used to get back in like the early 2000s. Well, not early 2000s. Late 2000s and like 2008-ish. Unforgiven comes straight to mind. But yeah, they are so fun. And yeah, this was a really good one. It's probably my preferred one of the two. But yeah, Kendall Gray and Kalani started it out, and I thought they had a decent 5-minute start, but it was very clear that they were waiting to do the first pin until the second person came out, which wasn't quite the case. Kendall, I think, pinned Kalani on like 15 seconds to go until somebody else came out, and they did the same thing in the men's one, which kind of annoyed me a little bit, but that's like kind of pet peeves with it, like nothing really major wrong. But I thought the chemistry that Kalani and Kendall had was really good, and it's a singles match I'd love to see in the future. I thought it was really smart from Jordan Grace to take out Kendall Gray as soon as she came out of the penalty box when she came into the match. I thought that it made the most sense. I liked the fact there was no pissing about from Lola Vice. She got a pin in literally 30 seconds of coming into the match, which then put her on, at the time, that put her on points level with, I think, two others. So yeah, that made way more sense. Though there was a questionable Kendall Gray move. I believe someone had hit the finisher and went for a pin and she broke it up. And I get the fact that she would then be above Kendall Gray as far as points go, but wouldn't it be worth having someone in the penalty box? I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like, what do you do? Do you break up the pin, or do you let them pin even though they'll be out for a minute? Can you get those points back? Yeah, the refs need a meeting. to sort out Kalani Jordan. How Kalani Jordan got eliminated and wasn't escorted straight away to the box and was left enough time to attack Sol Rucker, which took her out of the match momentarily, but it wasn't for very long. I want to say it was maybe for about 2 to 4 minutes maybe she was out of the match. But the knee injury kind of, I don't know, I kind of laughed it off when Sol Rucker almost immediately hit 2 soul snatches on Lola and somebody else, Jordan, Kendall maybe. But anyway, she hit a double soul snatcher minutes after, like I said, like getting an injury re-aggravated, which wasn't great. But I thought Kendall Gray had probably the MVP performance in this match as well as winning it. I thought that she was really good throughout. I thought the final few minutes of action was really quick and really fantastic. They got really intense near the end, not as quite as intense as the men's match. That got really close. But I really enjoyed the final sequence. That was awesome and a huge win for Kendall Gray. And I'm very interested to see what comes of the rest of the field following this, because obviously Kendall Gray was probably the one who was most written off for that one. So then I assumed that like someone within the other ones would win and then go on to a title match. So I'm interested to see what, like Jordan Grace and Kalani Jordan do after this, as well as Lola and Sol Rucker. And I assume Sol Rucker's probably going to feud with Zarya, because they'll just re-aggravate that feud. But yeah, overall really fun match. But all Iron Survivor challenges are. But it was the one I preferred out of the two. And yeah, looking forward to see Kendall Gray versus JC Jane and New Year's Evil. After that, we had Ethan Page defeating Mr. Iguana to retain the North American Championship. And yeah, this was a good match. It was pretty average for an Ethan Page match. I kind of expected it to be a little bit better. But it was a fun watch. I liked the comedy elements to it, especially with the puppet that I can never remember the name of, for Mr. Iguana. But yeah, overall, it was just fine. I don't know. It kind of felt like an underwhelming match, especially if you compare it to other matches that Ethan Page has had this year, and also matches that Mr. Iguana's had on NXT pay-per-views and NXT TV shows over the last few months. I kind of expected, I expected a little bit more. But Ethan Page has had a career 2025, and I'm very happy to see his reign continue going into the new year, assuming that he won't lose the title between now and, New Year. But yeah, I would like to see a proper feud for Ethan Page's North American Championship for his next defense. I know that kind of sounds insulting a little bit, but it's just a case of this got put on the show like literally hours before NXT. Well, hours. Like, it was one of the last things happened on NXT this week, last week, to get to the match. God, that took a while to get to. But yeah, I know. I kind of wanted to have a proper feud, the likes he had with Ricky Saints, the likes he had with Javon Evans when he wasn't North American champion. I thought those kind of feuds were really good for Ethan Page and kind of showed off his capability as a storyteller as well as great in ring. Not that I feel like he isn't good as a storyteller, but you know what I mean. I want more. I want to see more Ethan Page on NXT television all the time. But yeah, overall, it was a solid match. It wasn't as good as I thought it was going to be, but that's fine. Sometimes for pay-per-views, it was dead in the middle of the cards. It was okay for what it was. But yeah, overall, very glad that Ethan Page is still North American champion. Following that, we had Izzy Dame defeat Tatum Paxley in a decent match. Again, I expected a little bit more of this one, but it was still good. It was quite one-sided towards Izzy, which you kind of would expect with the emotional state that Tatum Paxley was in and the kind of big dominant heel that Izzy Dame is. But yeah, she looked exactly like a star and very dominant, did Izzy Dame. I thought it fit her. Like, I don't know, I don't know how to put it. It's like it had great pacing because Izzy was doing the methodical pace, the likes of Roman Reigns. He's the first one to come to mind, but like a good slow heel kind of does really well when they're dominating an opponent. Tatum really didn't get into it till like the last 3/4 of the match, but the crowd got so hard behind Tatum Paxley. It was actually one of the matches the fans were really electric for, which I was very surprised about. But they were fully behind Tatum Paxley, and I feel like that might even project her as a baby. Well, she didn't really turn heel as part of the culling, did she? But like, I feel like it might project her back into a title shot at some point in the future. But this was a good, like, I don't know, there was a cool table. I don't really know where I'm going with this. There was like a cool table spot that they did the graveyard shift. Tatum Paxley did to Izzy Dame on the table, and the table didn't break, which kind of made sense with how Tatum was standing, that the table wouldn't break. But the culling used Tatum Paxley's emotions against her, which made perfect sense within the story of the match. And yeah, this was a good win for Izzy Dame. She pins the former women's champion. And yeah, the win made complete sense. It gets her more on the track to the women's championship again, which I assume is the ending goal here. I was kind of unfortunate. it was unfortunate this was the weakest match on the card in my opinion, but it wasn't all bad. It just like, I don't know, it kind of just was one of those things where I kind of expected Izzy to win, and then she did, and it was dominant, so it kind of took away a little bit, but not massively. But yeah, another solid match for the show. I look forward to seeing what these two both do in the future, but yeah, I wanted a little bit more out of these two. And finally, in the main event, Javon Evans defeated Miles Bourne, Dion Lennox, Leon Slater, and Joe Hendry to win a NXT Championship match at New Year's Evil. And again, this was really fun. I did prefer the women's match, but not by that much. This was still a very fun, very good match to watch. Slater and Evans to start off made perfect sense. And yeah, I can't wait to see these have a proper rematch in the future, because I know these two can absolutely go in the ring, and it's probably one of my underrated matches of the year. Dion Lennox looked really good. He had a really good performance overall. I like how there was no hesitation between Leon Slater and Javon Evans to fight each other. I know they had the match at Bound for Glory, but because they're like really good friends now, I don't know whether they might have hesitated, but they didn't. There was an awesome sequence at like the 22-minute. I'm trying to, like, if you're rewatching it, about 22 minutes on the clock. There was like a really sick sequence between all the guys involved. But again, like the women's, it was so high paced near the end. Evans got the win barely. It was literally like the last, I want to say like maybe the last 10 seconds, Javon Evans got the pin, which meant that no one else could really do a lot about it. And yeah, it worked really well. I very much enjoyed it. The pacing fit quite well between, especially for Javon Evans, Leon Slater, and Dion Lennox. The pacing in the match, like they can really go like high paced in the ring. So yeah, it kind of just fit them really well, which then made sense as to why one of them got the win in Javon. We got Femi versus Javon at New Year's Evil, which I kind of makes sense to me if they do want to move Oba up, which seems like it was going to be the case. It makes sense that maybe Javon Evans gets the win at New Year's Evil, and then it goes on to maybe defend against Leon Slater at Stand and Deliver. That'd be quite cool. But as of right now, Oba's champion again, which kind of makes my prediction come true, or at least comes back into fruition, which is Javon Evans maybe loses at New Year's Evil and then has a rematch at Stand and Deliver where he overcomes Femi finally in what has been like a really good storyline, because Javon just cannot seem to put down Oba in any kind of match they have. And then after the match, we saw a vignette play, and it wasn't very long. All the lights went out, and I had no idea who it was going to be. And we saw the return of Tony D'Angelo, which is very interesting, and it was a very intriguing way to end the show. It made me want to watch NXT on Tuesday night, which I will do, of course. But yeah, I've never really been a Tony D'Angelo guy. I've never really understood how a mafia boss could be a babyface. And yeah, he's just someone I've not really enjoyed that much, but this is definitely intrigued me. It seems like he's going to be a lot more serious now, which I'm very much open for. And yeah, I look forward to seeing what he does going forwards and how he kind of involves himself within the Oba Femi and Javon Evans feud. But yeah, I'd say overall it was another really fun match. I'd say not quite as good as the women's match, but it was very, very close between the two. And yeah, I look forward to seeing Oba versus Javon again, as those two are just so good partners in the ring. So those are my thoughts and opinions on NXT Deadline 2025. Do put down in the comments below your thoughts on the show. And what were your highlights? How much do you just love the Iron Survivor Challenge? Because it is such a fun match. And it's a shame it's kind of once a year, but then it makes this time of year, makes me look forward to this time of year, because these matches are so good. What do you think Tony D'Angelo is going to do now he's back? And do you think Javon Evans and Kendall Gray are going to win their championship matches at New Year's Evil? Do put them, I said, down in the comments below. We can have a good discussion about it. And yeah, there's lots of good stuff coming up on the channel as well. There's going to be coverage of John Cena's last match, which I'm sure we're going to need maybe a tissue or two for. There's my top 10 John Cena matches coming up. And then maybe just after that, we've got some, what I was calling landscape videos. And it's kind of me talking about stuff I want to see in 2026 in the whole of wrestling, not just either WWE or AEW like I do at WrestleMania and All In Time. So do look out for those as well as of other lists and some of the best matches of WWE PLEs I've been going through recently. So do subscribe to the channel and all that stuff. Do like the video if you enjoyed it. And yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.